This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh, what is up, Padre fan? Welcome to your Padres postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. This is your Padres postcast, and yeah, oh baby, it is not a very good day to be a Padre fan because once again, the offense didn't show up. Once again, well, a little bit late they showed up. Jackson Merrill hits one off the wall in the ninth inning. Just adjust that a little bit. I think we're a better. All right, there we go. So, yeah, Jackson Merrill hits one off the wall in the ninth inning, drives in a couple of runs. Beautiful. Maybe could have lifted a little bit more. They leave the potential tying run on base. They gave up an insurance run in the bottom of the eighth that made it 4-1 Marlins. They score twice in the ninth. And, again, runners in scoring position, they're not getting the job done. And they're just not scoring a ton of runs, right? And then you got Fernando Tatis Jr., who's not really doing anything offensively right now. But this is your Padres postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries. And yeah, 4-3 loss to the Marlins. Look, you took 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. You have a chance to take 2 out of 3 from the Marlins, but these are the worst teams in baseball, aside from the White Sox. I mean, these are terrible teams. You should probably be sweeping these teams, but I say it day in and day out. I love that the Padres have done so well winning the close games this year. Today was not one of those days that went in their favor. Obviously, it wasn't. Today was a tough one, tough loss, to say the least, but they were able to, make it interesting in the ninth. So, again, we talk about it day in and day out. And, again, we talk about it, all the time with the show. And that is simple and very simply put. The Padres have a lot of trouble scoring runs and just kind of like the same kind of trouble I'm having with this microphone right now. Let me push it away from me a little bit. There we go. We'll just, it's still peaking on me. I don't know how you guys are doing with that. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, your Padres postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for making us your first watch or listen. Yeah, myself and Javier Reyes with the Locked On Padres podcast. And of course, we have the postcast. Come on, here we go. All right, so we have the postcast as well. And that's after every game live on YouTube, as you know. And then we upload so you can download that Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean. And then we upload to the ROKU. With OTT. Yeah, you know me. This whole party. And pods fall to lowly fish. Look at what we have there. And I'm trying to push this thing back. And look at that. There we go. We're working on it. We got this perfectly straight for you right now. All right, Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries with your Padres postcast. Again, 4-3 Marlins is the final. We got so much to get to in this show. We'll break down this game for you, give you the key storylines, like the Padres not hitting. Where in the world is Fernando Tatis? Can we put him on a milk carton already? Can we put his picture in the post office? It's so funny because he hasn't hit at all since the beginning of May. And then you're looking at today, he had a streak snapped where he had been on base in 19 straight games, right? So he's getting on base, he's scoring runs, he's playing great defense, can still help you win in so many more ways, right? He does that so many times. He helps you win in so many ways. Fernando does. But, obviously it's glaring when he's just not hitting the ball. And it's been a long time since he has. It's been a very long time since he's hit anything, Fernando Tatis Jr. And, he's getting on base. He's doing the things that he needs to do to help you win in other ways. But, again, he's just not getting it done offensively, and he's not hitting the ball. So there you have it. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, Padres postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and we are just getting started. What do you say we get it rolling? Full speed ahead right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, let me test this out. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the network right now. And while I see, let me just real quick see what's going on.
This is the Padres
All right, there we go. All right, we got it. So everything appears to be fine after that little debacle there, but we're good. Okay, Padres postcast, Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Let's try it again, shall we? Let's go, StreamYard. You got this.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Okay, whatever. Here we go. But hey, this is something that we're talking about today is Fernando Tatis Jr. didn't like a called third strike in his last AB tonight. This home plate umpire, what was this dude's name? I gotta, this guy was just, and I didn't plan this. I don't usually plan to rip an umpire, so to speak, but this guy was straight trash, this home plate umpire. It's like he had a date or something, and no umps get dates. I'm just kidding. But what I'm saying is, like, this dude was like, he wanted to get out of there. He wanted to get out of there tonight. This home plate umpire, Paul Clemens, I mean, he was consistent for both sides. It was trash. His strike zone was trash tonight. But look, it's for both teams, and at least, umpires are going to be bad, be consistently bad. Help is coming. The All-Star game had it. Before too long, these bums will be gone, and you won't see any more humans behind home plate. And I, for one, am all for it. I don't care about the union. I don't care about their money. I don't care about their families. I don't care about anything. You know what I care about? I care about a stadium full of people paying their hard-earned money. Millions of people watching these games. Sometimes, not all the time. Hundreds of thousands for sure, right? Some teams, tens of thousands, unfortunately. But what I mean is you have so much riding on it. Millions of dollars riding on every game, changing hands. Everything is right there to be seen, and you got to get it right. And if you're not going to get it right, which umpires have consistently proven over the years that they don't in any sport, referees in basketball, I mean, it's just you send Scott Foster to officiate a game, it'll go 7, right? My point is, if a team's in control of a series, send Foster in, tell him to call for the other team. Yeah, it's crooked. It's just ridiculous. So the AI will change everything, and before long, this home plate umpire will be out of a job, which kind of makes me smile because he's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Clemens is terrible. I'll say it again. Say whatever you want about me. I don't work for the team. I don't work for the league. I don't need their credentials. I don't get paid by anybody there. None of us do. We tell you how it is. That's one thing about the Locked On Podcast Network. We are here every day with your team, right? In and out, up and down, everything you need to hear. And we're not obligated or really kind of like not even just obligated. We're not even shoved in any particular direction for any reason because we don't rely on them for anything. So I can tell you that home plate umpire sucked today. His strike zone was straight trash. Nobody can find me. Nobody can fire me. Nobody can say a word about it because we're bringing you the truth. And that's what it is. You watch the team telecasts and they can't say anything negative. I'd get fired in a week if I was a play-by-play voice these days because everything is like, oh, they tried so hard and they just couldn't get it done and their rally fell just short. Come on, man. Tell it how it really is. Tell it how it really is. They can't hit. They can't hit. Fernando's been terrible since May 1st. He's not doing – he's so great that he has a 19-game on-base streak. I'm not doubting the greatness of Tatis, but what he hasn't done is really hit this year. He just hasn't. Since May 1st, he has not hit. He has not hit home runs. He's not driving in runs. He gets on base. He steals bases. He scores runs. He's great, and the outfield's phenomenal. So I'm not knocking him overall as a player, but nobody could sit here and tell me that he's hitting. He's not hitting for anything. Merrill's had a tough year, had a big hit tonight. Tough year for Merrill across the board. Manny's been carrying him offensively. Arise in a contract year, numbers way down. He had a good game today, right? So Louis Arise hasn't given you much. King's still out. Darvish is only on his 3rd start. Again, I could talk about these things all day, every day, but what does it really matter? You're a major league team. You're in the playoff hunt. You're in the wild card race. Morgan didn't give up a run for 3 weeks. He gave one up tonight in the 8th inning. It was a big insurance run. The Marlins are a bunch of young kids scrapping. We see this every year with them. They're overmatched and underpaid, and they're not even really a major league team, but they give everything they have, and they'll be picked clean again. They'll start trading anybody who makes money. It's the deadline. It's the Marlins. It's what they do. It's what they do. Tanner Scott last year, Louis Arise last year, Hoying even, who the Padres just sent down for some reason. He's pitching great. They send him down. I'm not going to question their bullpen moves, and I'm not going to question anything other than their offense. Their hitting coaches need to be fired. I've said it every day. Martinez et al., goodbye, good riddance. Let's bring in people who can actually help these guys hit better, right? Day in and day out, you guys are ripping the catchers. I like the catchers, Diaz and Maldonado. I think if they're hitting number 9 in the lineup and you actually have a couple more bats in there like you should, Kyle Stowers, the San Diegan, let's trade for him. Maybe he's one of those guys you can bring in. I like Stowers a lot. I'd love to see them bring in somebody like him. I'd love to see them bring in somebody, anybody at this point. But Stowers or Jarren Duran seem to be the two guys that everybody's talking about. I'd like to see either one of them come on in here and play for the Padres at this point. I'd like to see a couple of bats in this lineup. And I understand with Stowers, right? He's under club control till 2029. I mean, he's a Padres fan. Padres fan. Old tweets are coming up from when he was like a fanboy as a teenager for the Padres, right? It would be a match made in heaven to have Stowers here. But look, his last month, he's been unconscious, on fire. He's hitting 295 for the year. He's got, 22 homers and 61 RBI now. All right. But that hot streak has been a big part of it. What happens when he cools down? You trade for him, then he cools down. Then he's hitting like the rest of the team. You don't know. The body of work's not there. He wasn't a big league player with the Orioles. He had some ABs and he just didn't do anything with them. The Marlins got him last year. He showed glimpses. This year, he's really starting to come around. But the consistency is not there. You haven't seen what he could do in the playoffs. So there are other guys out there like a Jarren Duran who can also steal bases. That would give you a great outfield to have Jarren Duran in left field, right? With Merrill in center and Tati in right. Then you have to figure Fernando's going to come around at some point and start to hit. He's going to start to hit. He has to. He's too good, too great not to. But it hasn't come yet. It was very early in the season. He was in fuego, but since May 1st, he has just not been Fernando Tatis Jr. And he's so great that he masks it well. He's getting on base. He's stealing bags. He's scoring runs. He's playing great defense. I get all that. None of this is his fault. The struggles offensively, he's still getting on base and scoring. That's how great he is. He's not hitting, and he's still getting on base and scoring runs every game, it seems like, right? Today he had a 19-game on-base streak snapped. But where is the offense coming from? Bogart's finally hitting, had another double today, and they had the play at the plate where Cabrera, that was a tough one, right? Cabrera, the pitcher for the Marlins, who was really, he's got electric stuff. A little tapper out toward the mound by Bogey. It was one of those balls that hit on the lip where the dirt meets the turf, and it just kind of had that spin on it where it died, right? Kind of like backspin on a cue ball from the pool table. It just dies in front of the mound, and Cabrera shovels it with his glove. Perfect toss to the catcher. They get Louis Arise at home, and that's the difference in the game in a one-run game. That and the insurance run in the 8th, and then in the 9th inning, you have Merrill on second base, right? You have Merrill on second base with one out, and you can't get him in. You get Cronenworth, swings at the second. The first pitch goes down 0-1, then pops up. I was glad to read that he's on the trading block. I don't dislike Jake, but come on, man. He's hitting 230 something. Let's just get him out of here. I mean, 230 is not going to cut it in the big leagues. He's not a big league second base. He's not hitting like one. Maybe a change will do him good. Get him out of here. Move a Rise back to second. Bring in someone at first. Get creative. We know A.J. Preller's been great at the deadlines. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But this team can't hit, and game in and game out to watch this, and you're talking about Suarez being 34, being a free agent at the end of the year. Maybe they trade him. Hey, Cease and King are free agents. Why not trade them too? You're reading all sorts of crazy proposals, and I'm supposed to stick to just the games, and I'll get right back to it. This is more for Javier Reyes, Locked On Padres podcast day in and day out. Same platforms as me, YouTube, Roku, and wherever you listen to your podcast. Speaking of which, we got to hit the break. Got a couple of fantastic messages for you from sponsors who are literally just chomping at the bit to get in on our shows with our amazing audience. Why? Because they want to do things for you. It's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, Gries, at Jim Gries _ on social media. Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. 4-3 Marlins. Padres can't hit. Where in the world is Fernando? Put him on a milk carton. Put him in the post office. This dude has got to start hitting. He's way too great to be hitting the way he's been hitting since it's prolonged. It's forever, ever. It's forever, ever now that he has not been hitting, man. He still makes the all-star team. He still gets all the accolades. He still gets everybody loving on him, giving him flout. He's not hitting. Let's go, Fernando. Let's go, man. What are you waiting for? Let's go. They need to bring in a new hitting coach. They need to make moves. They need to do something. They're in the playoff picture with this terrible offense. The bullpen deserves better. The starting rotation that they've pieced together, Niebla, they deserve better from this offense. Atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Jim Grieshaber, call me. What else am I going to say? What else am I going to say other than that? They cannot hit. They cannot hit. Only the Pirates have been worse since May 1st. I mean, what does that tell you? They cannot hit. All right, we're going to take a break, step aside. I'm not going anywhere, and neither are you. But I'm going to tell you about a couple of amazing deals from our sponsors because, look, the Padres are depressing right now, so they get a couple bats in. This is ridiculous. Let's keep it going. Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And with the Padres offense being so bad and giving us another reason to want to drown our sorrows tonight, good thing we're not. But man, oh man, at least we have FanDuel to keep the action on the action, because without the winnings on FanDuel in these games, I don't know what I'd do with watching these Padres game in and game out. I mean, look, they're really going to be, I think, as the years go by, or the months go by, with this season, and they bring in a couple of guys, the trade deadline, a couple of bats, I have to think Preller will, then it'll be a different story. But for now, I need to get some action on the action just to save my sanity. With summer sports in full swing, whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, high-stakes soccer action, for crying out loud, FanDuel is the way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling with FanDuel? You can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I love to use FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. So whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet ride into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm a part of the action. And right now, if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5, get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started with FanDuel on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I don't need to tell you about Open Phone. I love Open Phone, BT Dubs. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call, every single one, good Lord, is money left on the table, just like the Padres leave base runners. So think about the last time you had a service emergency, like a burst pipe or an offense that doesn't score. If the first plumber didn't answer or the first team didn't trade with you, did you wait? No, you called the next one. That's why having a reliable business line is so important, and that's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. Did you juggle 2 phones? Hello, bad phone. Just to keep business and personal calls separate? Well, Open Phone solves that instantly, right? Your whole team can share one number, respond to customers like a shared inbox. No more, hey, I don't want it, you take it. Who's handling this? You got it? I got it. No, nobody's got it. Yeah, you don't want to do that, right? And when no one's around, the AI agent handles after-hours calls, answers common questions, and captures leads, so I never miss a customer again. Open Phone is offering Locked On Padres podcast and Padres Postcast viewers, listeners, 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's OPENPHONE, openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. On the Locked On Podcast Network, your team, yours, your Padres, every day. All right, and quickly want to thank you for making Locked On Padres podcast with Javier Reyes and, of course, the postcast with moi your first listen or your first watch today and every day. For your second one or your third, depending on how you're counting here, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and we are free every day. YouTube, Roku, and wherever you listen to or download your podcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, 4-3 Marlins. You lose to the lowly Marlins. You lost one over the weekend to the Nationals. You know, you just didn't do so great on the homestand before the break, and you're still right there in the playoff race. Still right there in the NL West race with this pathetic offense. You better thank your lucky stars. The doctors have had 1,000 injuries in their starting rotation, and they've been trash lately. Right? You better thank your lucky stars. The Giants and the Diamondbacks can't put it together. Injuries for the D-backs, and they needed to get max out of everybody. They're a lightning in a bottle team every few years. Just every other year, they're going to fade. You know, it is what it is. That's the organization they are. That's their payroll structure. An injury here or there, they're done, man. They're done. They're burnt toast, like the kind you smell before you have a stroke when there's no burnt toast. That's the Diamondbacks right now, right? Giants, they need rotation help. Their offense is not great. I just think the Giants are going to continue fading, and the Dodgers are going to start getting those arms back and putting a big cushion between them and everybody else unless the Padres do something. They're the only team in the division, in my opinion, that has a shot other than the Dodgers. The National League, though, is loaded. You got the Brew Crew, you got the Cubs, you got the Cardinals, who you got next with the Padres. Those teams are all good. The Reds are making a push right now. The Mets are fantastic in the East, so are the Phillies, whichever team wins there. You got the Mets coming up next week. As a matter of fact, after this Marlins series, this minor league runs over, right? You get 3 in nation's capital, you win 2. You get 3 in Miami. Now the most you can do is win 2. Then you go and play the Cardinals for 4. You can find me in St. Louis. 4 games, Thursday through Sunday. Then you come home, you got the Mets for 3, Cardinals for 3. Gonna know a lot about this team before then. And how long are you gonna wait? Wait. With the deadline coming, you're less than 2 weeks out, less than 10 days out. What you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do when the largest arms in the world suffocate you? And right now, the Dodgers have the largest arms in the world. They have the largest payroll. Ohtani's got deferred money till his grandkids can gamble with their interpreter and their fitness staff and everything else. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. It is what it is. Shohei the money so he can gamble it when he's like 75 and his grandkids can do it too. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. The Dodgers have found those loopholes. They do what they do, and you're not beating them right now as it is. And they're getting Snell back, and they're getting Traeger. So you have to figure out a way to boost this offense if you're AJ Preller. You need a left fielder. Yeah, that's the easy way to say it. But what about moving Louis Arise back to second and put Cronenworth on the block? What about a possibility of trading a Dylan Cease as part of a deal? I don't know. I mean, he had his best start last Friday. Maybe tomorrow he changes your mind in the finale and you just keep him. I don't know. Michael King, tough to trade, been out for a while. You don't want to trade your ace anyway. You're going to keep one of those 2 for next year. It's not going to be Dylan Cease. It's not. Trade him now. Maybe. I don't know. I'd love to see Stowers in a Padres uniform. I'd love to see Jarren Duran in a Padres uniform. But I'd also love to see Ozuna from the Braves as your DH. I'd love that. Maybe you bring in a left fielder and a DH, those 2 guys. I'd love to see another lefty in the rotation. I'd love to see a lot of things. I'm glad that I'm not AJ Preller, although I think it'd be kind of fun to be Preller right now. I think it'd be a lot of fun because this team's right there in the wild card race in spite of an anemic offense. They cannot score. They cannot score. They had an 8-run game and a 7-run game against Washington. Again, that's a minor league team. They don't have a starter with a record above 500, if I'm not mistaken. They just fired their manager. They are trash. The Marlins are trash. They're a trash organization. They are sellers. They shouldn't even have a franchise. They trade away their players every single year, and they've done it for decades. Even when they've won the World Series, they have fire sales and get rid of everyone because they can never figure out how to get fans, no matter what kind. I was there doing sports radio for years when you need a retractable roof. That is the weather itself. No, it's not. They have a beautiful stadium with a roof, and no one goes. Even when they win, no one goes. It's not a baseball place. It is a baseball place, but they can't galvanize the fan base. Central and South American fan base is huge for Major League Baseball. The Marlins have never been able to tap into it. Huizenga couldn't do it. Loria couldn't do it. They can't do it now. They can't. Jeter couldn't do it. They just can't. They're not. They're sellers every year. They're a trash organization. Don't base anything by a win over the Marlins or taking 2 out of 3 over the Nats. The Cardinals coming up 4 in St. Louis, then the Mets coming in, Cardinals coming in. You could be 5-6 games out in the wild card race, 8 games out in the division by the time you're done with this stretch with the Cardinals and the Mets, if you don't do something now. I'd implore you, and I'm going long on the show. This is more for Javi with your Padres podcast day in and day out. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, Padres postcast. They lose 4-3 tonight. They can't hit, man. They cannot hit. They cannot hit, and this has been the problem with this team all year. And again, late in the game, they had an opportunity. Jackson Merrill gave him a 2-run double in the 9th inning after Bogarts gave him a double. Merrill, if he lifted it a little bit more, would have tied it with a homer. But, Kolek got ripped. He gave up 8 hits like Vasquez gave up 7 last night. And, you just can't keep doing those kinds of things, man. Agustin Ramirez, 2 hits, scored 2 runs for the Marlins. Kyle Stowers, an RBI double. Love to see him with the Padres. I'd rather have Jarren Duran in left field. Heriberto Hernandez, single twice, had an RBI for Miami. Edward Cabrera, 5 hits, strikes out 6 over 5 2/3 innings. And I'm getting sick of hearing Don and Mud every game. Oh, this guy had great stuff. They can't say anything negative about the team anymore. Remember Phil Rizzuto with the Yankees, if you ever watched him growing up, or Harry Carey with the Cubs, or Jack Buck with the Cardinals, or Skip Carey with the Braves, and they would tell you like it is. These guys can't now because the team's like, no negative things about the team. We have to sell tickets. You can't. So they can't even tell you what's really going on. And what's going on is your offense stinks. Cabrera is just the latest pitcher to look like Cy Young out there, man. You know what I mean? It was his first outing since July 11th, and you didn't even no rust, no nothing, right? Kolik's 3-5. Otto Lopez scored on Manny's error tonight. Arise didn't come off the bag far enough. Arise got thrown out at home on a beautiful play by Cabrera. You know what I mean? And Arise had an RBI single. Nice job on an inside fastball. But I just, look, they did throw Arise out at home on a beautiful play. They did get the insurance run in the 8th. They had some good, they hit pretty well tonight, the Marlins did. But it's just too much. You got Alcantara and Cease tomorrow. Cease and Alcantara. It's going to be Sandy Alcantara. Sir, excuse me. It's been a long day. But I will say this, okay? You need 2 bats at the deadline. You need 2. And that's all I'm going to say right now because we have a couple things to get to and a short time to get them in, and the rest is up to Javi. But right now on your postcast, we've got 2 things to get to you before the end, these benchmarks. And here's the first one. When did this game get away?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
The turning point. And, when you look at what happened in this game and you think about, look, the Marlins took a 2-0 lead in the first inning. The Padres cut it in half in the 3rd. Marlins scored another one in the 6th to make it 3-1. Then in the 8th, they had one to make it 4-1. The Padres scored 2 in the 9th to make it 4-3. They were out hit 11-7. They've been giving up a ton of hits lately, right? 9 yesterday, 11 today. They had the error by Manny that scored a run today. They didn't deserve to win this game by no means, under any, however you want to judge it, any parameter that you want to base it on. But when you want to look at a turning point for this game, I think it's fairly easy to pick when that happened. And there's a couple of spots in this game where you could say it's the turning point. And for me, I'm always looking at the place, and there's never just one spot in the game where the game is lost. And I'd say that tonight, obviously the insurance run in the bottom of the 8th for the Marlins was huge because they won by 1 in 4-3 game, and Merrill's hit in the 9th would have tied it, but you can't say for sure that it would have still happened that way, right? So here's the turning point right here. Luis Arraez getting thrown out at home. It was the last hitter of the game for Cabrera. It was one of those cue balls off the bat of Bogarts, and it just didn't go your way. And he made a beautiful play, fielded it with the glove, shoveled it with the glove, and gunned him down at home. And to me, that was where it was at. That's where the game right there. That was the turning point, because if Arraez scores there, you know what I mean? If Arraez scores there, then you're looking at and in the 6th inning, you're looking at a very different, because that's 5 2/3 for Cabrera. You're looking at a very different outcome there. Very different outcome. And again, Merrill's hit could have tied it if that had happened. And if they hadn't scored, it could have won it. Is what it is. If my aunt had a thing should be my uncle. We talk about this all the time. Morgan gave up that big insurance run. Peralta pitched a scoreless inning. None of the 4 horsemen today. Kolek, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 2/3 innings. The Padres, Arise had 2 hits and an RBI, and that's about it. I mean, they were still leaving 6 guys on base, 3 for 11, runners in scoring position. And again, they just cannot hit, and that is it. That's it. So here we go. One more thing to get to. Let's do it.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, so here we go. All right, there we go. Luis Arraez had a couple of hits and an RBI today, got thrown out at the plate. That run was a tough one. He did everything he could. He went on contact. He slid, perfect slide, just a beautiful play by Cabrera to get him. So Luis Arraez starting to come around, always hits well against his former team, the Marlins. And let's not forget they traded him to San Diego last year, but he's in a contract year. Cease is in a contract year. King's in a contract year. Suarez is in a contract year. And I think that you can't make those guys untouchable. I don't think anybody out of that list is untouchable. Look, you got Fernando and Merrill locked in for a long time, right? You got Manny locked in for a long time. Bogarts, long time. Nobody's taking him anyway at that money. I'm cool with the catchers they have. But left field, second base, first base, you know what I mean? Wide open, rotation wide open. Bullpen's looking good, but Suarez, maybe you trade him. He's going to get a huge King's ransom next year. You have Adam, you could make the closer. I don't know. Adam's going to get a big raise for next year. I believe he's a free agent, or maybe they have one more year of controlling him, but you got a lot to work on. I'm glad that we have Javier Reyes with Locked On Padres podcast day in and day out to unpack all this for you. I went way long again. I apologize to everybody for that at the network, but I hope you've enjoyed the show. Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, 4-3 the final. They lose to the Marlins. The finale is tomorrow, 9:10 a.m. Pacific. We're on right after, around noontime, with your postcast. Until then, Padre fan, thank you so much for being here. We're free, and we are every game right after the game, live on YouTube. Then we upload, so you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, et al., wherever you get your podcast, and then also on Roku. You download OTT. Yeah, you know me. Jimmy G in the place to be on the MIC. Wish I had better news today. 4-3, they lose. In Miami, they wrap it up tomorrow before the Cardinals. Mets and Cardinals again make things extremely real in the wild card race. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Padre fans. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, and I am out.